Breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ. The Seattle Mariners are finalizing a deal to acquire Red starter Luis Castillo for 3 of the Mariners' top 5 prospects, including their number 1 prospect, shortstop Noelvi Marte. They're also getting the number 3 prospect, Edwin Arroyo, and the number 5 prospect in the Seattle organization, Levi Stout. Also getting Major Leaguer Dylan Moore. That's according to multiple reports. Plenty of talk that Castillo would end up in the Bronx. Turns out he's headed to Seattle to try and help the Mariners snap a 21-year playoff drought, the longest in North American professional sports. Seattle currently holding on to a wild card spot, and perhaps Castillo will put them over the top, pairing him with reigning Cy Young winner Robbie Ray at the top of the rotation. Castillo having an all-star season. He spent his entire 6-year career with the Cincinnati Reds. And look, the Yankees wanted him. He even said he would cut his hair to go play for the Pinstripes. Well, now he's headed to Seattle to play for the Mariners, who are clearly unloading their top talent to make a run at the playoffs. Get some instant analysis. Welcome in former big leaguer Will Middlebrooks, helped the Red Sox win a World Series in 2013. Will, are you kidding me? The Mariners giving up 3 of their top 5 prospects for Luis Castillo? Look, I know Luis Castillo is filthy and has got some nasty stuff, but are you kidding me on this haul?
They're all in. There's no way around it. They're all in with the amount of prospects they put into this. Also, they've been thrown around in this Juan Soto talks. This pretty much puts them out of there with this amount of prospects, especially Marte, their top prospect. I feel like Washington will be asking for him if they were going to get Soto. So I think they're out of the Soto sweepstakes here, but wow, all in. 20-year playoff drought. Do we see that come to an end? I mean, they're second in the wild card right now. I know there's a lot of baseball to be played. 1.5 games behind Toronto. Game up on Tampa. Tons of baseball left to be played. But those 2 teams that they're battling with right now in the wild card are going to be in a fight the rest of this season in the AL East, and they're kind of going to beat up on each other. So I think they're sitting in a really, really good spot right now.
So did they give up too much?
No, I don't think so. Not if you're going for it. If you're going for it, this is a top end of your rotation arm. We know what he's done over the past 4 seasons. He's arguably having one of his better seasons now, and he's going from a stadium in which it was one of the worst places to pitch. No one wants to go pitch at the Great American Ballpark. As a hitter, we used to call it the Great American Small Park because you never leave there without a homer. And he's going to a place in Seattle where the ball doesn't fly as well. It's one of the better places to pitch. And he gets a ton of ground balls, ton of fly balls. I think his numbers will look even better. He's also going to a defense that is much, much better, a top 10 defense. Cincinnati Reds have one of the worst defenses in all of baseball. So I think we see his numbers look even better.
Look, I look at this package, and this is a package that would be a package that you would have when you're getting guys like Juan Soto or like a guy like Shohei Ohtani or making a trade for a big name like that. Luis Castillo is a great pitcher, Will. There's no question about him. He's an all-star, having a heck of a season, having a career year. But to give up this kind of package for Luis Castillo for the second half and then maybe you have him for another year, this feels like a lot to give up.
It is a lot, and I think they are going to have him for next year. I mean, he's going to arbitration, so they'll tender him a contract. He'll either agree on it or not, go to arbitration. So they'll have him for next year as well, and then hopefully have a chance to re-sign him. Yes, they did give up a lot, I know, and I think that is just their front office saying to the fans, we haven't been in the playoffs in 20 years. This is the best team we've had in a long time. We have Julio Rodriguez, who is going to be in the not only Rookie of the Year talks, but we're going to be talking about him for years in MVP conversations. He's a special player there. Look at their rotation, too. You got Castillo, Robbie Ray, who won a Cy Young last year, Logan Gilbert, who's an up-and-coming star, George Kirby, Marco. They have a very good set of arms there to work deep into the playoffs if they can get into the tournament, which with this expanded playoff structure, I think they can get in, especially now with Castillo.
So is this Jerry DiPoto, the Mariners GM, saying, look, we have the capital to spend, we have the prospects to deal, even if we overpay, we're trying to snap a 21-year playoff drought? Is that essentially what's happening here? We might have to 100%. Overpay, but we're the Seattle Mariners. That's what's required of us.
That's it. And I think as a player in this situation, when you're in a clubhouse and something like this happens, this team didn't need to be fired up. They didn't need a fire lit under them. They've been playing great ball. They have rattled off 14 straight before the break. This is a very good ball club. It's a young, hungry team. But when the front office goes out and does something like this, my goodness, if this doesn't fire you up, I don't know what will. This is, as a player, you're saying, this is our year. Look what they gave up for one arm. For a guy that can impact a game every 5 days, they gave this up because they believe in us. They think we have the squad to get not only to the postseason, but deep into the postseason.
All right, so how's this for some separation here? The Mariners are going to be coming to the Bronx for a series next week. Do you know who might be starting in that series? Luis Castillo, making his debut for the Seattle Mariners. Are you kidding me? Like
against a team who was pretty much willing to give up anything to get him. But I'm glad he doesn't have to cut his hair. Some guys lose their superpowers when they cut their hair. I played with a guy named Darnell McDonald. I don't know if you remember D-Mac.
Yeah.
He went over to the Yankees for 2 days. They made him cut his dreads that he'd grown out forever, and then DFA'd him after 2 days. It was disgusting. Hurt my feelings.
Yeah, he might be making his debut on Monday. Samson, by the way, in the Bible, he lost some of his power when they cut his hair. Delilah, all of that. That's a biblical story though. But the story here is that Luis Castillo is headed to the Mariners and not the Yankees. So now the Yankees have to change course and find another target to go after. And we're hearing that it's Frankie Montas that could be headed to the Bronx. What do you think about the Yankees and Frankie Montas?
Yeah, he's got a good arm. He's a power arm, power split finger. The question is health. Like, he missed some starts because of health issues with that arm. He's come back, and since he threw 50 pitches, I believe, in his last outing, but he looked good. I think they're trying not to overuse him, but yet show teams, hey, he is healthy. And by not overusing him, lets him get even healthier by the time he's traded. I do think they go after him. I mean, this is the best team in baseball. One of the best teams in baseball. They've slowed down a little bit. Houston's very good. LA is obviously doing their thing. But they're going to do something. They've also been in the Juan Soto talks, of course. But I think they go after an arm. I think that takes them to the next level.
Do you think they're more likely to go after Frankie Montas or Martin Perez of the Rangers?
I would go. See, the good question. That's a good question because I like going after a lefty and forcing right-handers to hit in that ballpark. If you're bringing in a righty, lineups can be stacked with left-handers, and you don't want lefties pulling that split finger to that, what they call Little League Park in right field, where the ball likes to fly a little bit. If it was up to me, I feel like this is kind of an outlier year for Martin Perez. He's very comfortable in Texas. He'd been there before. I played with him there. He wanted to be there. That was home for him. He spends the off seasons there. I would go after Frankie Montas. I feel like that's the power arm. I feel like he fits that rotation better.
So the Yankees lose out on the Luis Castillo sweepstakes as he's headed to Seattle. When you look at this from a big picture standpoint, right? Mariners are trying to snap this 21-year playoff drought. For them, this was a move they had to make. What does it mean for them, though, now when he joins Seattle? What does that mean for that locker room? You having spent several years in a big league locker room, having played in the biggest moments in the biggest games, what does that mean for the team on the field right now, getting a guy like Luis Castillo?
They are fired up. They are so fired up right now. And I said that earlier. They didn't need a fire lit underneath them, but this will do it. Oh, my gosh. The trust that this front office is showing in this team, saying, you are the squad. This is what we have. We're going to add to it because we think you guys have what it takes to get to a World Series, to win the AL. They truly believe that, or they would not be giving up the future. I mean, these kids are giving up. I mean, they're years from the big leagues, but these were guys that they were slating in to play in the big leagues for them for years. And they're giving that up for one arm for possibly a year and 2 months. A year and 2 months for that. So in that clubhouse, they're very excited. They're fired up, and they can't wait for him to get there and put on a Mariners uniform.
Does Luis Castillo put them over the top? Are they snapping this drought? Are they going to be partying like it's 2001 in Seattle?
I don't know if I'm going to see Ken Griffey Jr. or Brett Boone or anybody in there bat flipping, but they're not even going to win. We're talking about this team like they're going to win their division. They're not even going to win their division. But in this structure, just get in. Just get into the tournament. You get into the tournament with 3 starting pitchers like Castillo, Ray, and Gilbert, and then you can put Kirby and Marco Gonzalez in the bullpen for length there as well. Yes, I think this does put them over the top into being a real contender if they get into the postseason.
The Seattle Mariners making a major move on Friday, acquiring Luis Castillo, but they had to pay for it. 3 of their top 5 prospects headed to Cincinnati. Will Middlebrooks breaking down for us here on CBS Sports HQ. Will, thanks. Wow, what a move by the Mariners. Look, I mean, they're probably not going to win their division. Just probably not going to happen. They entered play on Friday 11 games behind the Astros. But look, you know, I mean, they're 9 games above 500. I mean, Seattle, again, they haven't been to the playoffs since 2001. So they got to go all in. And this is an all-in type of move, acquiring Luis Castillo, who is having a career year, 2.77 ERA. I mean, this makes them flat out contenders for a playoff spot. We're not saying they're going to win the AL West, but this puts them firmly in the conversation to hold on to a wild card spot and look to make some major noise when the playoffs roll around.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.